Hello and welcome to another episode of Path to Black Belt. Um, Today I will do a more fun workout later, which will include actual martial arts instead of just stretching and philosophizing. But for now, I will do some stretching and some philosophizing, and because I am doing a few things in my student home. I am doing some laundry before I leave, and I also going to the school to talk to a counselor. Other than that, I'm free. I'm done with my exam. So, whatever cool music is playing is on the classical station. So, I can't always say which composer it is or whatever. Just a nice backdrop to have all this amazing classical music, right? And let's see. Let's get right to doing lighter stretches and then getting down into the painful splits. So, no, today's Stoic quote is no shame in needing help. Don't be ashamed of needing help. You have a duty to fulfill, just like a soldier on the wall of battle. So, what if you're injured and can't climb up without another soldier's help? Marcus Aurelius Meditations. Yeah, these videos are kind of like my version of Marcus Aurelius Meditations because I read Stoicism and then I meditate upon it. I think about it. Find out how I can implement it into my life. Okay, no one ever said you were born with all the tools you need to solve every problem you face in life. In fact, as a newborn, you were practically helpless. Someone helped you then, and you came to understand that you could ask for that help. It was how you knew you were loved. Well, you are still loved. You can ask anyone for help. You don't have to face everything on your own. If you need help, comrade, just ask. Well, even even as the lonely person I am, society helps one another. Just the services you get and all that stuff in our modern society, it's basically people helping each other. Someone has this service and the other one has this thing. It's like there are so many skills I don't have that others have. So our society helps one another. So yeah, despite our system kind of screwing ourselves over with the long work weeks and what have you, there are a lot of advantages to our modern society. It is. So we paid for this convenience with our freedom. And that's why I like to pursue, or I love pursuing philosophy to find my freedom, no matter what my circumstances are. My mind and how I choose to perceive the world is always free. So, uh, Path to Black Belt Part 2 will be a lot more fun today because I will literally do martial art moves. That's the best part of martial arts. But conditioning your mind and your body is important for martial arts. You know, that's why I bothered with all the stretching. I don't think stretching is that much fun. I like these lighter stretches, but the splits are just torturous pain. But it's pain and sacrifice that makes you strong, builds character, and builds a strong, flexible body. Oh, whew. Stretch the inside of the hips like this. I already read today's Stoic, so let's go for some samurai stuff. Samurai is fun. Oh, whew. Let me see. Okay. Uh, oh, this is about uh, something that Japanese people are really good at, being polite. Okay, so let's read about that. Lord Mitsushige was on cordial terms with Lord Mito Komon, and sometimes he was invited to the Mito estate for dinner. One time, Lord Komon was talking about ships, and he said, Lord Mitsushige, you are a daimyo of a western domain, and moreover you have taken on the duty of guarding Nagasaki, so you should know a lot about ships. Is it on the mark? What was I just saying? Genially nodding his head in assent, the Lord answered, You know a lot, even including such details. After his return home, he said, While he knows nothing at all about it, he does not say he doesn't know, just trying to somehow keep up appearances. I don't know, there was no wisdom in this. This is basically a story about someone who's pretending to know more than he does. um, Okay, let's see the other quote here. Prison is a pitiable place. Once, when Lord Setsu no Kami Naoyuki paid a visit to Saga Domain, he passed by Imajuku, and when he saw the jail he asked, What house is that? It's the prison, he was told. My, in such sultry weather, how oppressive it must be to be in there. What a pitiable thing. When he turned to Hasuike, he asked, Are there any people in prison in our domain? In Shiota, there are two. Today I saw the prison in Saga, and something occurred to me. There is nothing I can do about the legal punishments decided by the Lord. In our domain, to make people suffer like that, no matter what, is disgraceful and pitiable. Immediately let them free. That sounded noble, but what kind of things did these people do to get there? And what things will they continue doing? Because criminal acts of violence um, doesn't as a, people think that there is some genuine evil and good acts that you can choose between good and evil. Usually, the so-called evil people that do sick things, their brains are wired wrong. They're thinking in other patterns than regular people would do. So even punishment might not be a deterrent for them. And if a person like that is set free from prison, it might go on to do whatever that person did. It might be, yeah, all kinds of violent assaults and also possibly sexual assault. So it's like, yeah, of course, there are offenders like that in prison. Their pathways in the brain are heavily corrupted. It's not easy to let the person out into the world with these mindsets, you know? So I don't know. My opinion is kind of mixed on that one. I'm all for freedom and all that stuff, and a lot of guys in prison are just poor and struggling. I kind of have more respect for that. Even though, yeah, stealing is wrong and what have you, but how unevenly distributed our society is. At some point, someone has to do something that opposes that system. I don't find that nearly as bad as violence. But violence for the sake of stealing, yeah, it's still just as bad. So, for someone who loves martial arts like me, I hate violence. I'm very anti-violent. Uh, okay, Now, timer. Oh, I have an important call to make, but a little later. Let me see. No, never mind. I will finish my stretching. That's being true to my goals. Okay, let's try to get low. No, I don't. I don't ever start low, but it's because it's a process. You have to let your muscles gradually adjust and get lower, like this, kind of. Oh, well, it's a little lower than I started, at least. Okay, this is a good one. A question of mind over matter. In Edo, someone greeted Lord Mitsushige and said, I think it's amazing that you came all the way here on horseback. Even 1 or 2 days would be a great hardship. Please teach me the secret of how you manage it. I would like to become your disciple. The Lord replied, it's not really something so special that it needs to be taught. If one doesn't think that one is riding a horse, but rather feels as if one is sitting on a tatami mat, then one does not get fatigued in the slightest. So it's your mindset, mind over matter. I guess that's what I'm doing while I'm training these techniques. I just have to think about it. I'm relaxing, playing beautiful stuff on the piano, like the guy on the radio is doing, or girl. I don't know who it is. Oh, uh, whew, uh, at least I get the boring part of martial art out of the way before I. Hmm, that's very interesting. I like these interesting stories about uh, how unafraid of death samurais are. No matter how tough you may be, most normal people are afraid of death. It's like if I wasn't afraid of death, I wouldn't be alive today. I've been in dark places mentally where I just wanted everything to end. But probably my fear of death is what stopped me. It's a mechanism within us. Even though you want everything to end, it's like it's such a big decision. And the samurais are so freaking fearless when it comes to that stuff. So I think that's very fascinating. They're even willing to disembowel themselves for honor. Anyway, let me see the samurai quote. Even if it contains poison, what's the big deal? While Lord Takanobu was encamped facing the army of the Otomo House of Bungo province, the enemy sent a messenger over with sake and some edibles. Lord Takanobu wanted immediately to consume them, so his attendants tried to stop him, saying, this is a gift sent to us by the enemy, so it may contain poison. It is not something a general should consume. Lord Takanobu replied, even if it contains poison, what's the big deal? Summon the messenger here. The messenger was immediately summoned, and before his eyes, the Lord broke the sake bottle and filled the large sake cup 3 times, drinking it all down and giving a cup to the messenger as well. Then he gave his reply to the messenger and sent him back to the camp. Man, yeah, I think there are some good messages in this samurai book, after all, because when you're dealing with war, uh, you have to be bold, because that's why the messenger was there. Because you could send basically a message back if the messenger died for bringing poison. It's like, whoa, that's karma on you for trying to kill the Lord, right? Your messenger died. So if you're trying to kill the Lord, well, at least the messenger goes down with him. So, and if there is no poison, well, then the message is clear. Then they have something to talk about, to negotiate. He didn't poison the Lord. So, I kind of like that one. Okay, how Akifusa lost his head. Man, it's almost like I should call these videos Stretching and Samurai Stories and Classical Music. Cool music, yeah. Anyway. Whew. Takagi Akifusa betrayed the Ryosoji house. No, let's start the timer. Takagi Akifusa betrayed the Ryosoji house and took refuge with Maeda Ionokami to give him refuge. Refuge! Akifusa was a warrior of great bravery and a master sword fighter who could wield his weapon with great speed. Among his retainers were Inga-Zaemon and Fudo-Zaemon, two heroic samurai who were in no way inferior to him in skill, and both of them stayed by Akifusa's side day and night to protect him. A message came from Lord Takanobu requesting Ionokami to attack Akifusa. One day Akifusa was sitting on the porch and having his feet washed by Inga-Zaemon. Ionokami came up running from behind and cut off Akifusa's head. Just before his head was cut off, Akifusa drew his sword and swung at his attacker, but his sword severed Inga-Zaemon's head and the two heads fell together into the wash basin. Akifusa's head flew up into the air. This is the extent to which his skill has reached the level of sorcery. This is one of these like legendary samurai stories. Kind of the stuff of anime, you know? I like that stuff. That's probably why we have all this epic anime and video games and all that stuff. It's all the epic Japanese lore from the past that created. Uh, hmm. That's very interesting. I've read some of these stories before because I had this book for a while, so I remember some of them. But it's been a while since I read that book. Okay. The Chiba clan and Abalone. When the first ancestor of the Chiba clan, Chiba Tanesada, came down to the western provinces, he encountered a great storm on the sea, and he was on the point of being shipwrecked. But a great bunch of abalones gathered themselves together and plugged the damaged part of the ship so that he was saved. For that reason, the entire Chiba house, including all the retainers, has always abstained from eating abalone. It is said that if one of them eats abalone by mistake, a swelling in the shape of an abalone will appear on his body. Ah, old superstition. Well, great story. The beginning of the Nabeshima house. When Lord Naoshige returned from his adoptive family, the Chiba clan, several Chiba retainers of superior ability were selected and presented to him as a gift. One of them was surnamed Kagayama. They also included men with the name Koide and Hirata. This was the beginning of the retainers of the Nabeshima house. This is basically just a bloodline story. But, whew, and my stretch is soon done. And then, and now the last stretch. I will do some push-ups and squats afterwards, I think. Yeah. Whew. And stand off my heels and go down. Oh, I lost track of the How It's about the art of the samurais, because they had lots of aesthetic art way before manga and anime became like the big popular art style of Japan. How Lord Tsunashige commissioned the holy art. The Parinirvana painting at Tokufuji Temple is a one of a kind in Japan. It was painted by Chodensu. Lord Tsunashige instructed Fujimoto Sogin and his son Matachi Ichiro to make a copy of it, but they were not able to do so. The sutra copier Wakai Risaemon was ordered to take on the task, and he made a request to the temple administrator at Tokufuji. When the matter was taken up at a meeting of the temple priests, they said that no one was able to give permission. However, the temple administrator said, "This is a great treasure of which there is only one in Japan, but if it should be happen to destroy it in a fire, it will be lost to us forever." Thus it happens that Lord Nabeshima's request is well founded. I wish that a copy be made and placed in his custody. They had a copy made. Because the Lord died before the copy was completed, the copy was donated to Kodenji Temple by Jizaemon. This is the Parinirvana painting, of which there are now only two in Japan. Oh, 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 that was quite a workout. Ooh. Later on, I will have my real martial art workout. For now, I only use this great day to play some piano and go to my counselor meeting, and then I will do some martial arts. Yes, okay. Have a good one.